everyone, thanks for tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 8 to 10 days. In today's video, it takes us up towards the end of November. We're going to be starting off exceptionally warm. It really is insanely warm across many parts of England and Wales today. But I think we will find the temperatures dropping back over the next week to 10 days, back towards average, maybe even going a little bit below at times in the north, perhaps. Big split between the ECMWF and the GFS as to the actual weather next week, though. The GFS wants to build high pressure in after a few days of unsettled conditions next week. Not a warm high though, quite a cold high, so if that comes off we may have to start thinking about some frost for the bonfire night period, whereas the ECMWF this morning is very, very unsettled, really unsettled for next week. So quite a big split actually between the 8 to 10 day period, or in the 8 to 10 day period. Have a look at all the charts in a moment. I haven't used different charts today because weathercentral.de has gone down, so we're using charts for Weather Online and the weatheroutlook.com. We'll have to see how we get on with these. I'm not used to particularly the chart viewer at the Weather Outlook, but it's very good. I hope you enjoy it. Before I get on with that, though, I just want to mention the ads. There's links to articles sitting underneath the weather video here on my homepage at gazweathervids.com. Have a browse through the widget. If there's any articles that you're interested in, just click through. You'll be able to go off and read the article when you finish at Gaz Weather Vids, of course. Now, talking of the ads, I'm also opening up Gaz Shop at the weekend. It's an Amazon shop for you to do Christmas shopping. So what the idea is that if you've got any Christmas shopping to do at Amazon, click through from gazweathervids.com. There'll be banners in Gaz Shop that you can click through. Click through the banners and you'll be able to go off to your amazon.co.uk or amazon.com if you're viewing in America. Go off and do your Christmas shopping as normal, but at the same time, Gaz Weather Vids gets a royalty fee on the things that you're buying. I'll explain more about it as we get through to the weekend, and to celebrate that starting up, I'm also going to be beginning the Christmas forecast at the weekend as well, the Christmas update. So all getting very exciting, although the weather's not very Christmassy, is it? So I'm not sure about starting the Christmas shop, to be honest, when it's so warm. But it is going to cool down a bit as we get through towards the weekend. So here's today's temperature forecast from the high resolution Euro 4 model. This is from a website Weather Online, and we've got a big north-south split taking place today. The temperatures are quite cool in the north actually, nothing to write home about, just 10 degrees at best across eastern parts of Scotland, but look how warm it is across England and Wales, bathed in those yellow colours. That indicates temperatures getting up to 17, 18 degrees, some places will go higher than that, possibly up to 19 or 20 is 68 Fahrenheit. That really is bizarrely warm for the end of October. Now, the dividing line between those cooler temperatures in the north and the very warm temperatures further south is this band of rain that's moving south and east across country. This is a cold front. It's bringing rain into northern England and Wales through the course of this afternoon. It turns dry behind it, but it will be a lot colder, as we just saw. To the south of it, very, very warm, as we just saw as well. As we go into tomorrow, that cold front sort of stalls across the country. A very weak feature, producing just light patchy outbreaks of rain, but it'll be bringing that drop in temperature further southwards. So the best temperatures we get tomorrow on the south coast are just 15 or 16 degrees, still above average, but certainly a lot cooler than today. But really from Wales and the Midlands northwards, you're going to really notice it tomorrow with temperatures just 10, 11 degrees at best. Once you're getting towards northern England and Scotland, actually the temperature's going colder than average. We're down into single figures, just 5, 6, 7, 8 degrees being indicated here. Not should be quite that cold, but certainly a big drop in temperature coming along tomorrow anyway. You will notice the change. I think even on the south coast you'll notice the change, but it's not as dramatic down there. But from Wales and Midlands, yeah, I think you're going to notice quite a significant drop in temperature over the next 24 hours. We're not done with the warmth though, because we get through into the end of it, we're going to have another warm push of southerly winds, so temperatures by Friday could again be back up to at least the mid-teens. This is showing the chance of 14, 15, 16 degrees. Some places may go higher than that, up to 18 or 19 if we get sunshine. There could be a lot of cloud being dragged up with the southerly winds at the end of the week, so maybe the temperatures will be more limited than today, because we've got glorious sunshine across many parts of the country today, whereas at the end of the week probably more cloud. But even so, another warm push coming up. Now, these are the 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts for the next 8 to 10 days. We've got the E70F here on the left. The GFS is over on the right. 500 millibars, 80,000 feet is there in the atmosphere. We've got high pressure, low pressure being moved around by the jet stream. As I say, these are the mid-flow charts for 8 to 10 days time. So taking us towards the end of the first week of November. And what we see on the E70F with these blue colours, blue is extrapolated to low pressure by way, red to high pressure. What we see with the E70F is we've got a very deep trough of low pressure, blue colours centred right over top of the country. The jet stream is going around that trough, something like that. So we're more or less on the cold side of the jet. But the main thing is that the blue colours there are very deep. So that's a really deep trough of low pressure, very unsettled conditions indeed. Now the GFS, I should say, also has that trough of low pressure, but it's shifting it more towards the east and the northeast, and it's actually raising high pressure. It's raising heights in the Atlantic a little bit. So after an unsettled interlude, say around day 5, 6, 7, the GFS actually wants to start building heights back in from the west. Now, because the jet stream is going south around that trough, we are more or less on the cold side of the jet. So as the ridge builds in, we will have quite cool air associated with it, and if that comes off, it gives us the risk of those ground frosts, and maybe an air frost actually, by the time you get through towards bonfire night. But the E70F really would be a washout of a bonfire night, I think, if that was to come off. Now, these are the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles. This is from the weatheroutlook.com. It's the same sort of view as what I normally show you from weathercentral.d, just a different way of viewing it, really, a different chart. So we see that at the moment we're very mild, we're very warm. Going to get a bit of a dip in temperature coming up tomorrow. As I said, temperatures will be starting off, but then we get another warm push, and we see that clearly on the temperature ensembles as we go through into the end of the week. But from the weekend onwards, this is November the 1st, just here we find the temperatures sliding down, and we're going towards average really as we go through next week, and then there's no real indication there that we're going back towards very warm conditions. We may go above average at times, of course, but no sign but we get back to the sort of extreme warmth, and it is extreme warmth that we've got going on today, and we may get again briefly at the end of the week. Much more sensible temperatures being indicated there as we go through into the first week of November, albeit with rather a lot of scatter. The precipitation spikes show that we've got the rainfall coming up tomorrow associated with the cold front coming down, introducing that drop in temperature. Then quite a dry spell actually as we go through the end of the week into the weekend. Start of next week it may turn more unsettled, but the GFS isn't really conclusive about that. Indication there perhaps of some rain coming up on the 3rd, but overall fairly dry actually on that ensemble until we get later on. The temperature anomaly for the coming week, 28th to the 5th of November, shows we're warmer than average. Hardly a surprise with the extreme warmth that we've got going on from now, well, today, and possibly again on Friday. So above average temperatures. Most of Europe above average as well, cooler down in the southeast of Europe. The rainfall anomaly, precipitation anomaly shows that we're going to be generally drier than average for most parts of the country, wettest up in the north and the west. So just have a look at the generic charts. This is the GFS, again from the weatheroutlook.com. This is for Sunday, and this is when the change is really taking place with that drop in temperature over the weekend. So we're bringing low pressure in off the Atlantic. It's sent to the north of Scotland, bringing a weather front through across the country there on Sunday the 2nd, and that's taking a band of rain with it. Now, let's see how I get on with the chart viewer. I've never used these on video. So we'll go through another 24 hours, and then we can see that the front has pushed through, and we're bringing the low pressure down across the country. But notice heights are rising out to the west there. That's what I talked about. After briefly unsettled about that, GFS wants to build that high pressure back in as the trough pushes off towards Scandinavia. So that's Monday the 3rd. If we go through another 24 hours, taking us to Tuesday the 4th of November, we see that the ridge then is extending through the Atlantic, starting to topple into the British Isles. But winds are going into the north, so that's quite cold air coming down, and with this high pressure building in, moving through to another 24 hours to 192 hours, with the high pressure building in as it does so there on Wednesday the 5th, bonfire night. We've got the high pressure centred in across the country, but it's under quite cold air. So with long nights, cold air, we are having to think about frost and fog as we go through in towards bonfire night, and then finally getting through to day 10. Well, really high pressure's in control. It's drifting off towards the east, but it's still pretty dominant, I think, that high pressure. Winds are from an easterly type direction. Could be quite a bit of cloud, maybe mist and fog with that as well, and we'd certainly still be at risk of overnight frost as well. But I have to say, the ECMWF is completely different. So here we finally, from the ECMWF, again from the weather outlook, this is for Monday. Low pressure well and truly dominant to the north of Scotland, and instead of building that ridge in from the west, we just keep low pressure barreling around the country really. So a week's time, Tuesday the 4th of November, the low pressure is in there right over top of the country. Moving through to Wednesday the 5th, bonfire night. This is when the GFS is building that high pressure in. No, the ECMWF doesn't do it. It has the low pressure through the country, so it showers the longer spells of rain. Pretty cool really. The black line here, same as on the West Central charts, is telling us where the jet stream is, and it's generally to the south of the country. So we're on the cool side of the jet. There is cool air with this low pressure, but it's much more unsettled with those showers, the longer spells of rain rotating around that. And as we get through beyond that towards day 9 and day 10, well, we just bring more areas of low pressure through. So totally the opposite, really, the ECMWF to the GFS. Here we are on day 10, Friday the 7th of November, and that low pressure at 970 millibars, very deep low pressure, is right over the top of the country. We saw it on the height anomaly chart. Very, very unsettled conditions with that. So we have got quite a significant and dramatic split actually between the GFS and the ECMWF for next week. Not very often you see it that defined really. The GFS wants to build in the high pressure, albeit within colder air, giving the risk of ground frost and fog, with some fog patches through next week, whereas the ECMWF is very, very unsettled. There'd be a lot of rain with that. Pretty cool temperatures as well, and that's what they are both agreeing on. They're both seeing this, that once we get this week's warmth out of the way, we go into the weekend and the temperatures will gradually slide down. We get through to next week and it will be a lot cooler. So that's the plan at the moment. Cooling temperatures, cooling trend, but whether it settles down or remains or turns more unsettled next week, we're going to have to wait and see. That's it for now. Hope you found the video interesting. I'll be doing the 5-day forecast tomorrow, so come back for that. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.